All right, everybody, we are back with a brand new edition of the Cabral Concept. Every single week, bringing you our Mindset and Motivation Monday. Can't wait to get into today's show. This is episode 3237 of the show. We're going to be answering, are you burnt out or just bored in life? And I mean just not bored where you've got nothing to do, but you've lost your passion. You've lost your zest. You've lost your ability to wake up in the morning and be excited about the day. So what I want to do is I want to share this with you, and especially from someone like myself, coming from having Addison's disease 25, 30 years ago and actually able to overcome that. I know what it's like to be sitting there with chronic fatigue syndrome and burnt out, like literally no cortisol production. And so what I want to do is just have you answer these 5 simple questions. So literally, I'm going to give you 5 questions. It doesn't have to be a 100-question questionnaire. And this will get to the crux of, do you have work to do more with your health or more with the psychology? And I want to share with you then a few tips for each one of those, especially as we start to move into a brand new 12-week year, a brand new look at the new year itself. So let's dive right in. First and foremost, the questions that we need to be answering are, is this a physiological? That means burnt out, cortisol, body's just shut down from a tremendous amount of chronic stress. That could be chronic stress internally, heavy metals, gut issues, thyroid, etc., or externally, toxins coming in on our psychology, pesticides, mold, environmental allergens, food allergens, etc., right? There's lots of them. And then there's psychology. So that's physiology, that's burning out physiologically. And then there's psychologically, we'll call it more burning out, more from the mindset, more from the passion, where you don't have the thing that you are looking forward to, or the things that you used to look forward to aren't really the same as they were before in terms of excitement. So let's dive in. You'll know after answering these 5 questions. The first question is this: you feel disconnected from everything. Essentially, is it a yes or a no? That's all you're looking to say. Like, do you feel disconnected basically from everything? So let's say you're having a lot of challenges at work and you say, hey, I don't feel like, I'm not really into work anymore. All right, so you feel disconnected from work, but you still feel really connected to your family, your friends, going out on the weekends, taking trips, those types of things. So if you're disconnected in one area but not the others, you want to say, no, I'm not disconnected from everything. I'm just disconnected from this one thing. And that begins to give you insight. And I'll share that in just a moment as to what it might be. All right. The second, so basically you're disconnected from everything. Like that's a big thing. You're kind of like apathetic. You're just like, I'm not into anything anymore. I'm just not into it. All right. Number 2 is this: you're feeling more moody and irritable, meaning that everybody, right? All the people, all the things, the world around you, it's just making you more irritable. You're in lower mood. You're kind of just like, again, apathetic. You're just not into it all around. Or is it situational? Again, you're at work, or you're just with one person, or you're just with, I don't even know what it might be, a small group that you used to connect with, and you're just not feeling it. But you're feeling it in other areas of your life, and you're not irritable or moody in those areas, all right? So it's basically like you're irritable pretty much all the time, 90% of the time, or is it just in situations? All right, number 3 is this: you used to be motivated and have energy, but not so much anymore. So here's the thing. If you're never someone that's like super high on life and always excited and all of those things, well, you can't expect yourself to always be that way, right? Like you might not be wired in that particular way. You enjoy life, you like life, but you're not necessarily hyper, right? You're not like all hyped up all the time. That's not supposed to be you, right? That's not just who you are, and that's totally fine. But are you less energetic than you used to be? Are you less motivated and lower energy than you used to be? So use only you, not anybody you see on social media as a barometer, right? Like you see people on social media and they're always geared up. I'm telling you, they're not that way for the other 15 hours a day that they're awake. It's just not the way that it is. 16 hours total or so if they're 8 hours in bed, but you see them for an hour or so on social media. Okay. So that's your third question to answer. Your fourth one is you used to be passionate about your thing in life, but not so much anymore. All right, so what does your thing mean? Here's what it means. You used to be super into archery. You're no longer into archery. You used to be super into art. Not so much anymore. You used to love to read. Not so much. You used to love to study health. Not so much, right? Like it's like, so the thing that you used to be all about, you're not really into it as much anymore. All right. Is that true for you? You want to think about that. And I'm not talking about a person, because sometimes dynamics and relationships can change. But let's talk about the thing that you've really loved for years. You're not really into it, not really passionate about it anymore. All right. So that's number 4. The last one is this, and then we'll pull it all together. You're no longer taking care of yourself in the same way. Now, that can be not misconstrued, but it can be taken in a lot of different ways. So think about it. The whole de-stress protocol, that's what I read about in the rain barrel effect, and everybody's a little bit different in how they look at it. Like, let's go through it. So diet, are you taking care of your diet the same way? You eating the same way, or have you kind of let that go? Exercise, you in it to win it, or have you let that go or not started, right? Stress, toxin removal, that's basically like your protocols. Are you into doing your protocols, functional medicine detox, heavy metal, gut health, etc.? What's the next one? Sleep. How's your sleep been? Staying up later than you used to. And then emotional-based balance, supplements. Do you used to take supplements to keep yourself more balanced? Activated B vitamin, your daily omega-3s, daily nutritional support, daily activated multi, probiotic, whatever it might be, or not so much anymore. And the last part is the mindset, right? That success mindset. That's the de-stress protocol. Now, some people are just more into other things than others. So, for example, I've never been really into like skin health and all of that. It's not that I don't study it. It's not that I don't appreciate it, but it's kind of like the thing that I've never really prioritized. I'm trying to prioritize it coming into this next year. I want to talk more about it. I know that obviously people should, and they do care about their skin health and all that. And haven't talked about it as much. Hair health, all those things. So I've always cared more about internally than externally. And the reason is that I didn't have my internal health, right? So that's, for me, obviously it's very personal. I had Addison's disease, type 2 diabetes, rheumatoid arthritis. I had massive insomnia, environmental allergies, mast cell activation syndrome. So I had a lot of these things, POTS, I could go on and on. So I had to fix those, had nothing to do with my skin, except for like a bout of folliculitis I would get, and acne as a teenager in early 20s. But that wasn't like my thing. So for me, if I started to not follow my nutrition, or exercise, which has definitely happened when I was in a super busy, crazy, build out of my practice many years ago. What else? Stress, all those things. Like if I wasn't following all my things, I'd be like, all right, I'm kind of letting all of these things fall off. So think about it for you. Whatever you've been, if you've never been in exercise, you're not letting it fall off, right? So think of it that way. All right. So now let's pull this together. How do you know if those are signs of burnout based on how you answered, or I just kind of bored, and I mean psychologically not interested. All right. So let's go through that. If you answered 1, 2, and 5, most likely it's a sign of burnout, right? So I can't provide you with a medical diagnosis, right? We're not talking about that, but let's go into it. So number 1 was this. You feel disconnected from everything, not one thing, but everything. Okay. So if you are just disinterested in everything in life, it most likely goes well beyond loss of passion or boredom. You are burnt out. You might be low cortisol, low in the morning, maybe even high at night, low thyroid. There could be some issues. And again, you can run a simple at-home lab for this called the stress, mood, and metabolism test. You can run it with your local naturopathic doctor, your integrative health practitioner, with the Equal Life team, whatever you want. But a great lab to know for sure. But let's find out. We don't want you burnt out. That's not something that you just easily overcome. And you might think it's really a psychology thing, and you keep trying to push yourself through it through doing cold plunges and hard workouts. So that's not the way to bring the adrenals back, or the HPA axis, or the HPT axis, which is for your thyroid. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2 is you're feeling more moody and irritable, 90% of the time. If you're waking up irritable and going to bed irritable, it is most likely not one thing. And I'm talking about chronic. That means chronic means more than 6 weeks, right? So it's really this has been going on, not for a day. Believe me, I have bad days. That doesn't mean I'm burnt out. It just means I had a bad day, right? And so when we look at this, more moody and irritable for 6 weeks, we need to look beyond the one thing that might have come up at work, right? If you're always like that with whoever you're with, let's look at what's going on with your metabolism, with your hormones. I think that that's very important. And then number 5 was you're no longer taking care of yourself in the same way. So again, if I've never taken amazing care of my skin, besides obviously cleaning my skin and putting on some moisturizer, or I don't even use moisturizer, but an oil, something like that, then I can't get mad at myself for not doing more, because I never did more, right? So kind of look at it that way. But if So if most days of the week I'm exercising, I'm following my nutrition, I'm taking my nutritional supplements, I'm doing my quarterly detoxes, I'm getting to bed by a reasonable time, in bed for 8 hours. Like that's what I'm doing. If I'm not doing that anymore and I've kind of let myself go, okay, well, why is that, right? Do I just not have the energy in order to be able to just push myself through to be able to do those same things, right? So that's what I want to look at. Now, for 3 and 4, you may just be bored. So you're not motivated and you don't have the energy. That was number 3. Number 4 is you used to be passionate about your thing in life and now you're not. So I see this all the time. And it's because if you're answering kind of back and forth on 1, 2, and 5, it might not be, a hormonal based issue, not burnt out. And again, it's beyond just the glands of the adrenals and thyroid. It has to do with your brain as well. It's the hypothalamus and pituitary gland, essentially motivating those 2 glands to produce cortisol, to produce thyroid hormone, etc. But let's look at it this way, is that sometimes, because I work with a lot of private clients, I work with mentees, practitioners, and they are just no longer motivated by the thing that used to motivate them 5 years ago or 10 years ago. So they were looking to get themselves, healthier or build a career in health or whatever it might be. And they achieved that. They did it. So for them, it's just not the same motivation to say, well, I've gotten healthy. I've created my career. I've done whatever the thing is. For those individuals, then you should want to look at it 2 ways. One is amazing. You did it. Like you set out to achieve something that you wanted to achieve that truthfully most others are not able to, just in the grand scheme of things. They give up on their goals. They hit a big challenge, hit a big obstacle. They didn't have the right mentor or coach. They didn't find the information that you have, et cetera, right? So we should be grateful about that. We should have perspective that not everybody's allowed to achieve that or able to achieve that. But the other part is this, is that, okay, good for you, but now you may need to set a new goal. And that's why I talk about on a lot of the Mindset and Motivation Mondays, that the happiest people I know are not retired. They're not coasting through life. People coasting through life, or that I've seen that are just done, are not happy. They're not the people that wake up every day with excitement. And then you talk to them, you're like, oh, I want some of what that person has, like whatever's going on. Now you might say, I know lots of retired people and they're happy. Okay. But they're still growing. That's the difference. They're still setting goals. They might be doing the stereotypical retired thing was they took up golf. Okay. But they're motivated to go from a 30 handicap, meaning going from like 102 down to like a 92, right? Take 10 strokes off their golf game over 18 holes. Yeah, they're still growing. They're working with a golf pro. They're out with their friends. They're doing things that are still keeping them engaged. Right? So it doesn't matter whether you're retired or whatever it might be. What I'm saying is the happiest people I know are working towards a growth-based goal, a personal growth-based goal, and that for the greater community. Meaning like golf's a perfect example. You might go out by yourself sometimes, but it's so much more fun when you're going out with a twosome or foursome where you have 1 or 3 other people that you're playing alongside, because you're having conversations, you're playing up, you're upping your game because you want to look good, you want to perform all those different things. And then after 9 holes or 18 holes, you're having a bite to eat, you're having a drink, a little camaraderie, right? So like everything's so much better when you can also do it as part of a team, part of a community, providing also a service in life. That's why when people do retire, if they take up being a volunteer, my grandmother, amazing woman, she worked for over 2 decades as a hospital volunteer, working in the gift shop, helping people sometimes in their lowest moments, going down to get flowers or whatever it might be. She did that for free. And she worked there 3 to 4 days a week, every single week for free. And that is a way to keep yourself going, especially when you're living alone in your 80s in Maine in the freezing cold in the winter, and you still get up every day and go to the hospital and put in 20 to 30 hours every single week, right? So what is she doing? Providing a service, keeping herself busy, growing through all the growth and talks and all those things that she's doing. And she's literally many learning new systems inside of the gift store, all of those things. So again, everyone's life and their goals look different. What I want to share with you is that when you are finding yourself not passionate anymore about the thing in life, it is time sometimes to move on to the next thing. And that's okay. It really is. You love this and it got you to where you are today. Now it's time to explore your new passion. One of those things I'm going to talk about on another show is, but the thing that kind of keeps popping into your mind, the thing that you keep reading about, the thing that keeps you interested in it, you keep coming back to. Sure, you may not be an expert in it, but that doesn't mean that it can't be the next thing that you begin to move towards or add to your life. It doesn't mean that you need to always kind of blow things up in your life and just go in a totally different direction. It can be an add-on, right? So it's like, it's a yes and instead of a no but, right? You want to do something different. No, it's a yes and. Yes, this life's great. And what if I could explore this? And the other one is, you used to be motivated and have energy. Well, if you don't have something to look forward to every day, yeah, you may not have the same energy because you have nothing to look forward to, nothing to grow towards. My exercise routine was becoming really stale over the past couple of years. Not that it was bad. I went in, I did my exercises, I lifted weights, and it was fine. Like, it was good. And then I started to say, is it possible to get back into good aerobic shape, great aerobic shape? What would that look like? It's been a long time. And it simply said, wow, you are not in a place where you're happy about right now. Let's see if we can make progress there. Let's see if we can add an extra day per week and just starting to move you closer to seeing if you can get a little bit better for you. And then, of course, in my position, I can maybe teach. I can tell more people about that. So what I would say is this. Oftentimes, if you just need a break, you need a break. Like, you're just overwhelmed and it's all coming down. I get it. 7 days, 14 days, 28 days maximum. You need to just take a step back. You need to journal. You need to think about your life, where you're at. What are your major stressors? How can you start to work down those stressors in some way? And as I said before, if it is a possible burnout-based issue, run the stress, mood, and metabolism test or run the Big Five. Do something that enables you then to not just try to power through things, but to actually fix the body, which then gives you unlimited energy when it's balanced. At one point in my life, I had no energy, legitimate, was not producing cortisol. All right. Now, not everybody's going to have Addison's disease, of course, but they do have sometimes lower cortisol production, especially earlier in the day. They're just chronically stressed and it's higher in the evening. They're getting poor sleep. So all of that can be fixed. Same with thyroid. And when that comes back into balance, you wake up with energy. You are excited to start the day now. And all of a sudden you become more interested in other things because you have the energy in both body and mind. So I can't recommend that enough. You know, my big wish for everybody is for this to be your best year yet. And I truly mean that. And it doesn't mean that you need to set out and accomplish this biggest goal in the whole world. It's to simply start to say, okay, yeah, I'm taking ownership of my life. I'm taking responsibility for as much as I can take responsibility for my own life, my own ownership. And I'm going to begin to move in a direction that would make me a little bit happier, where I could provide maybe a little bit better service to my family, my friends, my community, my career, whatever it might be. And in turn, I'm going to see that growth and it's going to make me happy as well. Hopefully this was helpful. Thank you so much for tuning into another Cabral Concept on this Mindset and Motivation Monday. If it was helpful, do feel free to share the show with anyone you believe it could serve. Take care, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything. Functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.